Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a work bag comparison video. This is one of two videos I'm going to be doing on this topic, so I'm also going to be doing a work tote comparison video, but I know that as much as I love tote bags, not everyone does. So I also wanted to do one featuring bags which are still work appropriate, but aren't necessarily that tote bag style. So I have 4 different bags here that I'm going to be comparing. The first one is the Senreve Midi Maestro bag. I'm then going to be comparing the Prada double bag, the Bayswater zipped tote, and then also the Givenchy Antigona as well. So 4 different styles, and I'm going to be comparing them against each other, talking about functionality, versatility, weight, what can fit inside, mod shots, basically everything I can think of. So if you're after a new work bag and you aren't into totes, then hopefully you'll find this useful, and let's get started. So starting off with the Prada double bag first, and this is the most expensive bag I have here today. It's priced around about the £2,000 mark, I believe. I think it's just over that. I will put the exact prices in US dollars and GBP on the screen so you can see. This is definitely one of the more pricey ones. It is a fairly classic style. I think, you know, it's been around for a very long time, and Prada continue to produce it because it is so popular. And I would say I do really think this is kind of the quintessential work bag. It's very, very fit for purpose. It's a good size as well, so it can fit a decent amount. The straps are very, very comfortable, which I love, and you do also have the shoulder strap option also. Funnily enough, I tend not to use the shoulder strap option a lot, which is unusual for me because usually I am very reliant on the shoulder straps, but I don't really feel the need with the Prada double bag. And then on the inside, you just have a very simple layout, basically just split into 2 compartments. As you can see, it's very, very roomy indeed. You do have a little compartment in the middle, which it's not the most secure closure, it's just a little magnet, but it's okay. And then you fit in whatever you need to, you know, your phone or money, whatever it is. So in terms of layout, I do think it is kind of laid out quite nicely. You do have plenty of room, but at the same time, it's not like a tote bag where it's just going to be a bottomless pit and you're not going to be able to find anything. I do think maybe it could do with a few more pockets, but they have kept it very simple. It is very nice quality leather, so on the inside it's actually very soft, which again is a bit more unusual for Prada because I think they're more known for their Saffiano leather, which is very hard wearing, and that is one really good thing about Prada Saffiano in general. Not always. I have had some bad experiences with Saffiano as well, but certainly with this bag I have found it to be very hardy and durable, and anytime I have any stains or anything, I just wipe them clean. So no issues with the leather on this one. It's actually done really well in terms of the shape, and I've not really seen any Prada double bags which do look really bad. I think sometimes you'll see some bags which are very well loved and used and they just won't look that great anymore, but I haven't really seen any really bad versions of this bag. I think that's probably a testament to its structure and just how well it wears over time. It is obviously a very classic shape as well, you know, it goes with pretty much everything, and I like this both kind of dressed down with jeans as I do, you know, fully dressed up with a skirt, dress, anything like that. So it's a very versatile bag in terms of how it looks. Comes in pretty neutral colorways as well as bolder pops of color if you wanted to do that. I do like the fact that you can get contrasting lining, which I think is always a very nice touch. So I do really like this bag. It's fairly light, it's not too heavy. I will be going over all the weights right at the end of this section, but the weight isn't too bad at all, and generally speaking I do just find this to be a very, very functional and fit for purpose bag. Next up is the Senreve Midi Maestro bag, and this is actually the newest one in this kind of little collection of bags that I'm talking about here today. This is the midi size, which is the medium, so you can also get a size up from this and you can get a size below it as well, which is the mini. I really like the midi. I think it's a great work size, but I will say that you can't fit a laptop inside, so if you need to carry a laptop with you, then you will have to size up. I tried with my 13-inch MacBook and it was just a tiny bit small, but I do love the proportions of this and I just like the way it looks on my frame. I got this in the smooth leather. You can also get it in the grained leather as well. If you want something very durable and hard wearing, I would say to probably go for the grained leather. I do think that for me the payoff is worth it. The smooth leather is definitely a little bit more delicate, but I just love the way it looks so much, especially in this color. So for me it is worth it, but I think you just have to consider how hard you are on your bags. The grain leather is fantastic for wear and tear. It is incredibly, incredibly durable. So if you did want something totally indestructible, then that is a great leather to go for. But as I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of the smooth leather, and it just opens up with a buckle. and then you also have a zip as well. And then on the inside you have this beautiful blue suede lining with a ton of compartments, and the compartments and the layout on the inside is absolutely my favorite thing about this bag. It is so functional. So you do have a larger pocket here where you can put an iPad or whatever you wanted to. You have more pockets. That I have some money in from the other day. So you do have more pockets here, and then you also have more pockets on this side as well as a zipped compartment as well. And then if I just flip it around, you also have a little keychain as well if you wanted to attach a pouch or anything like that. So super, super functional. I love the fact these bags are really designed with working women in mind. You know, you do have the compartments for everything that you'll need. They're very roomy as well, very comfortable to wear. You have a little pocket on the back for your travel card if you do commute in a city. And I just think they're fantastic. So functional, so useful to wear. You can carry these 3 different ways. So you can carry it just with the top handle, the longer strap as well, and you can also convert it into a backpack if you want. I tend not to wear it as a backpack just because I'm not really much of a backpack girl, so I really tend to only carry it just with the longer strap or with the top handle. But yeah, I absolutely love this bag. The leather quality is beautiful as well. You can tell it's a really well-made bag, very functional. I love the color options, and I do think this is a really, really great choice. Next up is my Mulberry zipped Bayswater. This one does come with the shoulder strap as well, which you can detach if you don't want to wear it like that. I do tend to use the shoulder strap quite a bit, I've got to say. It just zips closed as well, which is really nice if you were worried about security. And then on the inside, it's just a big old wide open space. So you do have one pocket right there, but that's pretty much it in terms of compartments. Again, I feel like they could have done with a few more, but I guess you do have a lot of space kind of right in the middle for whatever you'd want to put inside. You can't fit a laptop inside this one either, unfortunately. You can technically fit it in, but it does just kind of peek out and you wouldn't be able to close it. So it's not a very comfortable fit, but it is still a very roomy bag. You can fit a decent amount inside. I do think it is a beautiful choice. I would say that the leather is a very particular look, so you have to know whether you like this kind of look. It's very grained indeed, much more pronounced than other grained leathers as well. So if you like that grained look, then it's great, but if you don't, then you probably won't like this bag. And the style I do think is beautiful though. I really like the updated design. I did previously own the classic Mulberry Bayswater, which I just didn't get along with. It was far too heavy. Thankfully, this one is a lot lighter, and the fact that you do have a shoulder strap makes it a lot more functional. So if I do ever find it to be too heavy, then I do have that option, and I do rely on the shoulder strap a lot. So I really like it for that. I will say I don't feel like the handles are quite as comfortable as the Prada double bag. I don't know why, but the handles on the Prada double are just very, very comfortable to wear. So this isn't quite as comfy, but that's pretty much the only negative I can say about it. It is a really lovely bag. It's held its structure very well. Again, I haven't had this for years, but so far I've had nothing to cause me any concern. I really like the style, and I think it's just a very elegant choice in general. And finally, I have my Givenchy Antigona, which is obviously a very well-known style, and I do feel like this is kind of a love it or a hate it bag. You know, it has been enduringly popular, and I can see why, because I do think it's a very classic shape and style, but I can also absolutely see why some people will really dislike it and other people will love it. You do have the longer strap, but as far as long straps go, it's quite a short one, so it does sit quite high. Apart from that, I just carry it with the top handles. And then on the inside, it just is a very large kind of open space. You have a zip pocket on one side, which is actually very deep. And then you also have 2 pockets on the other side. One thing to keep in mind with this bag, especially in the larger size, it is very tall and it's also very deep. And because of that, it is a little bit of a bottomless hole, especially if you get it in a darker color like I have. It can take a little while to find your belongings, unless you're very, very disciplined about putting things into pockets and pouches and things like that. I will often find that I lose things inside, and you can feel a little bit like Mary Poppins trying to fish things out. So definitely something to consider, and that is purely down to kind of the size and the shape, I think. But yeah, I do lose a lot of things inside this bag. You do have a kind of secure opening with a zip, but it doesn't actually open that wide. You can fit in a laptop, which is great, but yeah, I feel like you'd either really like the layout of this bag or really dislike it. I'm kind of 50-50. I like it mostly because I think it's a very chic bag, you know. I do think it's one of those bags which elevates an outfit rather than just complements it. So I love the way it looks, but yeah, it is a little bit of a bottomless hole. I did want to go over weights now, and I'm going to go in order of heaviest to lightest. So the heaviest is the Givenchy Antigona. I did weigh them all, and this is definitely the heaviest. I knew that already. It isn't a light bag, and that's another thing which I frequently hear people complain about. It's definitely not light, and despite the fact that it can fit a laptop, I don't really ever use it to carry a laptop because it can get so heavy, and for me it's just not worth it. So if I'm carrying a laptop, I will usually just use a tote bag, and that's pretty much true of all top handles. I don't generally like top handles that can carry laptops and use them for that function because I always find them to be too heavy, and I think that'll be true no matter what the bag, if it's leather, because obviously leather does weigh something, and then with a laptop, and if you carry anything else from a wallet to a bottle of water, it just gets overwhelmingly heavy. So I tend not to use this to carry laptops around. It's just too much for me personally, but even so, even without anything inside, this one is the heaviest. Next up is the Prada double bag, and this doesn't actually feel very heavy to me, and I think that's in large part due to the comfort of the handles, which actually do make a really big difference in my experience. This is definitely lighter than the Givenchy Antigona though. I will put the exact weights up on screen, but I measured them all before this video, and this does come in at number 3. And coming in at number 2 is the Senreve Midi Maestra, and that was closely followed by the Mulberry Zipped Bayswater, which was just a tiny bit lighter. I don't think there was too much in it. This was just a smidge lighter, but it was considerably lighter than the Givenchy Antigona. Okay, so onto the what fits inside portion of the video now, and I was debating how to do this. I usually lay all the bags out on a desk and do it like that, but obviously these bags are quite a bit bigger and I didn't think they'd fit. So instead I'm laying them out on the bed. I've got them from largest to what I think is the smallest. I'm going to be showing you what can fit inside. I'm not aiming to fill the bags full this time just because I think we'll be here forever, and I also don't think that anyone's in any doubt as to whether these bags can fit a wallet, for example. You know, they can quite obviously fit in the small items that you might want to carry with you, so I'm really focusing in on the larger items like a laptop. I also have here some pieces of A4 paper. I have my notebook, which is quite large. I have a pouch, and I also have my phone as well. So this is what I'm going to be testing out. It's safe to assume that you'll be able to fit in, you know, a bit of makeup, your key holder if you have one, card holder, wallet, that sort of thing in all of these bags. So first up is the Givenchy Antigona, and I realised in the main portion of the video I didn't actually speak about durability on this one, and it's a very durable bag. I don't have the shiny leather, I have the matte leather, but it's done really well in terms of wear and tear. It does have a tendency to gather little marks, but if you take the time to put a bit of conditioner on, then it's absolutely fine and kind of reverts back to normal. So it does pick up a few marks here and there, but generally speaking, it does pretty well. I have seen the structure fold in a little bit over time on other bags and also my previous one, so that's something to keep in mind, but if you don't overpack the bag, then you should be absolutely fine. And in terms of capacity, so a laptop, which is a 13-inch laptop, fits in absolutely fine, as you can see, as does pretty much everything else I would want to put in. So A4 pieces of paper, also fine. Large notebook, also fine. Pouch, also fine. Phone, also fine. And there is still absolutely buckets of room. So make no mistake, this is a huge, huge bag, but it can get very heavy. So I personally would never carry a laptop in here. I've done it before, I won't do it again just because that's, oh my goodness, it's ridiculously heavy. So it's a heavy bag. I wouldn't use it for a laptop, but if you wanted to, you could fit a laptop as well as many other things inside. Onto the Prada double bag now, and I'm just going to remove the strap and pop in the laptop. This is a little bit snug, but you can fit it in, definitely there is room. And I actually much prefer the layout of this just because you do have the compartments, so it's not kind of all quite so scatty. And my notebook. Pouch, you have a choice of areas because it is pretty large, and obviously phone is no problem at all. So just like the Givenchy Antigona, this does feel lighter, but it's still obviously quite a lot of stuff inside, but you have plenty of room. So, you know, if you wanted to move everything over to one side, you could do and kind of separate it out like that and still have room for a water bottle and umbrella and anything else that you'd want. But yeah, heavy bag as well, not quite as heavy as the Givenchy Antigona, but plenty of room for everything that you could possibly want. Next up is my Mulberry zipped Bayswater, and this one I know can't really fit a laptop inside. You can technically squeeze it in, but as you can see, it kind of pops out like so, and you wouldn't be able to close it or zip it up. So you may be happy to carry it like that. I personally wouldn't, so for me that's a no. Same as the A4 piece of paper. Technically you can, but again it pops out from the top, so I wouldn't choose to carry A4 piece of paper in this bag. Notebook, same as well, albeit you can, if you wanted to, kind of put it at an angle, and that does fit. So if you wanted to pack it full and kind of have this upright, you wouldn't, but if you're happy to kind of angle it, you absolutely could do that. Pouch is totally fine, as is obviously a phone as well. And you do still have a lot of room for other items such as water bottle, umbrella, makeup bag, anything like that that you'd want. And then finally I have my Senreve Midi Maestro bag, and this fits a very similar amount to the Mulberry Bayswater. This one actually has a slightly better fit for the notebook just because it is that little bit taller. Pouch is no problem at all, as is a phone, but it is a tiny bit too small for A4 piece of paper. Like, you could if you wanted to crease them, but I don't think many people would want to do that. And same with a laptop. It almost fits, but not quite. You'd obviously be fine with an iPad or anything like that for both of these. This one does actually, on the surface of it, look a tiny bit smaller than the Mulberry zipped Bayswater, but it is actually, the capacity can fit a little bit more just because of the height of it. So can fit plenty in there. I haven't utilized any of the pockets or anything like that, and obviously you can fit in whatever you need to in those spaces. So first up is my Prada double bag. This is what it just looks like in the crook of my arm. It is definitely a large bag, but I personally don't feel like it's too big on my frame. I really like it. It just fits a ton, and I think it looks just as good kind of with jeans and a blazer as it does with a dress or a skirt. The only thing I'd say about this one is I do think it looks a little bit funny when you use the longer shoulder strap, which is perhaps why I don't do it very often. This is adjustable, so you can adjust it if you want, but for me it just looks, I don't know, a little bit odd and a little bit oversized to be wearing as a kind of longer shoulder bag. So not 100% sure about wearing it like that, but I do like to wear it just using the top handles. Now for the zipped Mulberry Bayswater, and I actually feel like this looks good both ways. You know, you can wear it in the crook of your arm or just handheld, but I also think it looks really nice just on the shoulder as well. Just a very, very nice size, and it's also not so big or kind of not so work-like that you can't wear it casually either. It's just a really nice size option. I feel like this size would also look good on a variety of heights as well. So, you know, if you were a bit taller, I think you still pull it off, but if you were more on the petite side, you could definitely pull it off as well, I think. And this is what it looks like on the shoulder. And obviously it's a larger bag, but I don't feel like it looks so overwhelming. I feel like the Prada double can look a little bit too big when wearing it with a longer strap, but I don't think that's the case here. I think it works just fine. Next up is the Senreve Midi Maestro, and this one is on the smaller side, especially when you compare it to the Givenchy Antigona, but it actually fits just as much, if not a little bit more, than the Mulberry zipped Bayswater. So I like the fact that it looks a little bit more compact, but at the same time still big enough to be a functioning work bag. And you can obviously just wear it kind of in the crook of your arm. You can wear it obviously just in the hand. And the way I mostly wear it is just on the shoulder. It fits really nicely. It's very, very comfortable because you do have the larger bit of leather right here. And I think it just works. And finally, with my Givenchy Antigona, as you can see, this bag is a little bit bigger than the others. I think it just takes up more real estate and it just looks like a large bag, which is what it is. It is a very, very large bag. I do love the way it looks though. I think it's very chic and just, I like how streamlined it is. I think it's just very chic and pulled together. And as you can see, if you did want to wear it on the shoulder, it does sit very high indeed. I think that was the right decision because I think any lower and it would just look a bit funny. You know, this bag is too big to be wearing low down, but I do feel like the shoulder strap might be a love it or a hate it thing. As for my general conclusions now, and I don't have a firm order, but I do have kind of an idea of what I think is the best value, most functional, and also what I think most people would prefer. So coming in last, it is the Givenchy Antigona, and I would say that again, this is still keeping in mind that I do still really like this bag. I like all four, as I mentioned, but this one falls down a little bit. It is kind of mid-price range, so this is about 1,600 in the UK, but you can often find these on sale, especially around Black Friday, so you can definitely get this one for a little bit cheaper, but it comes in at number 4 just because it is the heaviest, which does make a difference, I think, and also just the fact that it is quite a large bag. Yes, it's great that you can fit a lot of items inside, but it is a bottomless hole. You know, it's quite difficult to find things, especially in the darker color. Too heavy to really put anything massive and bulky like a laptop, and it's just that kind of weird in between. So it does get a lot of points for the look and just how chic I think it looks. I get a lot of compliments on this bag actually whenever I go out. It's probably one of my most complimented bags, which is always kind of surprising to me, but people seem to love this one. But in terms of functionality and value as well, I would probably place it last. And then coming in at number 3 is my Prada Double, and the only reason why this isn't higher is because of the price. It is the most expensive of all the bags I'm featuring here today, and if it was priced the same as the Mulberry Bayswater, I think I'd probably swap them around, but because this is double the price of the Mulberry Bayswater, I just don't think it's necessarily worth 100% more, you know? It's a great bag. I think it's very, very comfortable, very hard wearing. I think it's very chic and kind of iconic in what it is. It is a great work bag, no doubt about it. And if you do need to fit a laptop in and you're fine with top handles, then definitely I'd say this is a wonderful choice. But I just don't think it's that much better than the Mulberry Zip Bayswater, and it is a lot more expensive. So it just depends on how much you like the Prada style. I would absolutely say it's still a great bag and I really enjoy mine, especially just for the style, the functionality. You know, there's nowhere that it particularly falls down. I think it's great in pretty much every way. The only thing is I do think it's priced too highly. So if price is no object, then I would say it's a lovely choice. Definitely no negatives there. But yeah, in terms of value, I do think there are better options. Which leads me to my 2 favorite bag picks, which are the Midi Maestra and then the Mulberry Zipped Bayswater. These are both really good choices, I think, for work bags. The others are too, but I think in terms of value, these two just edge it. The Midi Maestra is priced at just under £700, I think, and you can often get duty-free codes as well. So if you ship it to the UK, then you won't have to pay anything extra, and obviously in the US you don't have to anyway. I will put the US price on screen, but in terms of value, I think you're getting a lot of bag for your buck. It's a beautiful leather, and I think as soon as you kind of see the leather in the bag, you can really tell the quality. The hardware is beautiful. I do love this combination, and it is just very functional, you know, with all the compartments and the different ways to wear it. In terms of a work bag, you just have everything that you want, and it is very kind of sleek and streamlined as well. So I think this is a great option, which is really well priced. If you did want to spend a little bit more, I do think that the Mulberry Zipped Bayswater is really lovely as well. And as I mentioned, I do really like my Prada double bag, but I don't know if it's worth spending double the price. You know, this is priced at $995, which is amazing value for what it is. Obviously, it's still a lot of money, but you know, you're getting a very, very luxurious bag from a very iconic brand. I'm not 100% sure about the Mulberry rebrand. It is growing on me a little bit. I do prefer the old logo, but I do think they've done a fantastic job of reimagining this style. I do think it is an improvement on the original Bayswater. I find it to be very functional, very comfortable to wear, and everything from, you know, the lining to the hardware it's just a beautiful bag. So I think it's very good value for money if you like this kind of leather, and I do want to emphasize that because I don't think it will be for everyone, but if you do like this kind of leather and you like the way it looks, then it is definitely a really nice choice, which I think is very, very good value. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will leave links to all these bags in the description section below, but if you do have any other questions for me, then let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.